We're working on a 2016 Nissan Qashqai today. We're going to be doing a small service including the air filter and oil filter oil change. You'll need to jack up the car. I jack mine up on the right hand side, and there's an axle stand there. It doesn't really matter which side you jack it up on, you'll get the same result. I have warmed up the engine for say 15 minutes just left to run. So when you're draining the oil, with it being hot, it will drain better. You'll get a few more bits of some impurities and stuff out quicker than you would out of a cold engine. You just have to be careful though that the oil, when it is coming out, will be hot and it can possibly burn you. If you're unsure about jacking up the car and get underneath it, just leave it. Get it done properly somewhere. It's not worth taking the risk. So then once you're underneath, then you'll have to take off this bottom panel. So just on the front here, there will be 4 10mm bolts to take out, and then I think there's 10 of these plastic caps that hold up the rest of it. So when you're taking them out, I just get a pick, kind of just in here, and just roll it, and that'll pop it out. So just be careful of those, because you will need them all for putting them back together. So you just kind of go around the edge, and you'll see better on your own car anyway. But yeah, there's about 10 of them, and then the cover is out of the way. So like I said, we're changing the air filter and the oil filter. So that's the air filter there, and that's the oil filter and the new O-ring. On the air filter, you'll see there's a notch here. That's like a locator. You'll see that on your own when you're taking it where it goes. I'll show you now in a couple minutes. But it's just so as you put it in the right way, because it's wedge shaped kind of. Well, where it sits, the seating part of it is wedged, fat on the bottom and fat on the top there. So you'll see that when you're taking out your own one, but nothing too special. I'll get you underneath the car now and just show you what you need to get the oil change in it then. So this is the underside of the car. I have left the jack there, you can see, and the axle stand is there on a strong point. So that's where you drain the oil out of. This bung here, it's a square, 8mm square, a relatively cheap tool to get. And then the oil filter is this here. So this is a 27mm spanner or socket. You're going to need to loosen that. That's basically all you're going to need for underneath. But I'm just going to show you the tool. So this is the tool for draining out the oil. That slots in like so, and you need a spanner then just to turn it, and just to let the oil out. So see if I can do this kind of one-handed. So there it is in there, and of course it dropped it straight into the dish. So that's loose now. It doesn't take much to loosen it. Just screw it out, and I'm just going to let it into a dish there. So just have the dish positioned correctly underneath the oil bung there. I'll screw it out. Again, just be careful, because it will be fairly hot. And there we go. So not going to take too long like that, because it's warm. It will flow that bit freer, and we'll just hang on there now. You'll see it'll slow down as it gets closer to being empty, and shouldn't take too long. You can see it just starting to taper off now. So there's very little left in it there now. I like to leave it just go until it kind of gets to the stage where it's just dripping. I'm going to pause it here and just bring it back when it's just done. So it's just dripping away there now. It's gone from the kind of a mouse tail to that drip. So once it gets to that stage, you're not really going to get much more out of it. So you're good to go then putting the oil bung back in. So when you're putting the bung in, just go ahead and do it. Just don't mess around. Don't screw it in halfway, say it shall come back, tighten up. Just do it all in one go. So it's very possible, very easy to kind of forget about what you do. So again, difficult to one-handed. Just pop it in and give it a nice little snug. So that's the oil drained out over there. Just give it a quick wipe down. Any residual oil there, and that's good to go there. Some people put PTFE tape and stuff on the bung, but we've never found it necessary to do anything like that. So next we're going to go on to the oil filter. So just need to slightly reposition the oil dish, and we're going to put on the ratchet and socket then. So that's it there, and hopefully it's not too tight. And screw that out. So there'll be oil in this as well, and when you're taking it down. So just be careful again. You could get a nice bit of hot oil down on you. That's kind of gone loose there, so I'm just going to take the ratchet off, screw it off the rest of the way by hand. Just there's some of that oil that's in there. Don't be a whole lot, but yeah, just there will be a bit in there. Just let that run away as well. So we're just there now with the oil filter. Just had to let a few bits run over there. There does be a nice amount of oil in the filter housing itself. And that's it there. So we're going to be taking the element part out, putting in a new element, and then there's an O-ring runs around here. We need to change that too, and we'll be good to go putting it back in. So that's where she leaves up there. We're going to leave that drip as well. Get as much of the old stuff out as we can, and we'll be good to go. So I'm just going to pause you here. I'll get you over to the workbench. So that's the oil filter housing on the bottom there, and the oil filter here on the top. There's an O-ring runs around here. We need to change that. So that's the new O-ring there, and that's the new oil filter. So just need to pop this off, and we'll put that in for cycling, and then there possibly there's going to be just a bit of oil in there. We need to get that out too. So that's the housing. That's the bit that remains. Let's get that clean up. So this is just a set of tools for changing oil filters on different cars. Now we didn't need it for this one, but a relatively inexpensive set to get, and there's a large coverage there. But mostly screw-on filters, steel filters. So we'll get the O-ring then. Get the old O-ring off, and get the new one on. So just a little bit of oil on it there. Let me pop it on. A bit difficult to do one-handed, but nothing major. So that'll sit into that groove. The O-ring sits into that groove in there all the way around, and we're just going to put just a little bit of lube on that to put it for when it's going back together. And then just the new oil filter pops in. That's it. A little bit, yeah, nicely held. So that's the assembly put together there. That just screws back in and you're good to go there as well. So we'll get that back in and we'll sum it up. That's the filter housing just resting back in place. We just need to screw it in. Just snug. There's 25 Newton meters to torque it, but I've never had to torque them. Which you'll know when it's right. So that's the filter housing, the new filter put back in, and the oil bung back in there. So just need to top up the oil then, and then we get onto the air filter. So I've put in, say, approximately 4 litres in around that of oil, and I've ran the car for a little while, had a look around the oil filter, the oil bung, make sure there wasn't no leaks there. So when I was happy that there was no leaks, I put the under tray back on, and now we're just gonna, so they're settling there for a few seconds, so we're gonna dip the oil now and just see where we're at now. So let me see. So there it is there. So there's 2 notches in the dipstick. We're kind of halfway between the 2 there. So there's 2 little indentations at the bottom of the dipstick there. We want it to be just up to here when we're finished, so it was about halfway. So we're going to try and say ½ litre, and that should do us. So I'll come back to you in a second when I have that done. So just get that oil into it, and then we'll see how we're doing. So we're just about there then. That took about really took up close to 6 litres to fill. Where are we now? Just give you a look at the dipstick. So yeah, it's just give it a wipe down. Quick check again. So we one of the larger capacities for oil. So yeah, it's just there. So that's the oil changed. You don't want to go over that notch on the dipstick. You definitely want to keep under it. You don't have to go exactly up to the top, but yeah, you do want to keep close to it if you can. So now we're just going to change the air filter here now. Let's see if we can get that done single-handed. So you need to pinch these tabs on this side and this one here, and then when we get this pipe out of the way, then there's a couple of tabs on either side of the housing, and it'll fold forward. So just see if we can get this. So pinch them there, and then just pull that towards you, and the whole lot slides up. Alright, you can see the air filter is actually quite dirty through there. So now we need to just pop off the 2 tabs. And there. And there she is. So there's this top tab here. So that's just to let you know that the air filter, this is the top and to the left of the air filter housing. So yeah, it's quite dirty. It's a while since that's been changed. So there's that locator tab there. So I'm just gonna, you just drop it in. That's it in place, and then click those tabs in on either side. That's those home, and then this panel, there's this pipe goes back on, and it has to slide down here, and then also on this side here. So just kind of line it up. You'll know when it goes on. It'll feel right. So click down. Some guys like to put cable ties around here, but this is nice. You can feel it. It's a good fit. So that's the air filter back in place, and the oil is done. So like that. when you're working on your own car, just to find out in your owner's manual how much oil it takes. I didn't find out on this one, but yeah, it's about 6 litres, in around that sort of mark. So that's it. If you have any questions, just put them in there. Like, comment and subscribe, and let me know if you want to see any more of these service videos. This is the first one I've done. It was a little bit tricky to do the service and hold, you know, kind of one-handed, do the whole lot together, but if you like them, keep them coming. Alright, thanks, bye.